The HRIS directors of the future, if they don't want to burn out, if they don't want to be firefighting, it is about investing in your team.
Invest in your people.
Invest in your people. So you do need to build those system thinkers and those strategists.
Investing in learning the technology of today is investing in learning the technology of tomorrow.
Welcome to the Ask an Expert podcast. Today, I am very excited because I'm interviewing two of my favorite people in the ecosystem, Ceci and Mia. How are you doing?
We're doing great.
So happy
Thanks,
to
Maddie.
be here, Maddie.
Of course, I'm happy to be here as well. Thank you for making the time. I know that we tried to schedule this a few times, but very excited to be here today. And I think the timing is right because you have a lot to share, a lot to unveil, and I'm trying to understand a little bit better, maybe share a little bit of BTS on what you're working. Why don't we start with just quick intros? I know that both of you have worked with partner firms, I think TopBlock and Cognitive, but I'm interested in knowing, how did you guys meet?
Me and I met post-college in our first job. We were both strategy consultants at a firm called Navigant, which is now Guidehouse. And we were working in the healthcare sphere. And we were just honestly a little bit disenchanted with healthcare at the time, and particularly the data that we were working with. So Mia had the bright idea to go over into Workday consulting.
So you met before Workday?
We met before Workday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just assumed that you met because you had the same job at Workday.
Our friendship predates our Workday careers.
It does.
We've been friends almost a decade now.
Yeah, and honestly, we think the universe wanted us to be friends earlier because I was at University of North Carolina and I was studying public health. And Mia was over at Emory studying public health as well. And she was considering transferring to UNC. So if she had done that, then we definitely would have been in the same program.
Yeah.
So we think Chicago brought us together.
Cool. Nice. And then Mia got the first Workday job, and then you just referred Ceci?
Yeah. So in Chicago, right after college, I had met a group of people who were doing Workday. They were actually independent consultants.
Okay.
And it was back in 2017, and they were crushing it. They loved it. They were like, the Workday wave's awesome. You got to come join. I was disenchanted with my job. I wanted to change. I wanted to work with more technology. So I tried to get into the Workday ecosystem. I applied to a job as a junior level consultant at Collaborative Solutions and got rejected.
No way, okay.
Yeah. At that time, they wanted folks with Workday experience, and I didn't have any. So disappointed, but undeterred, I set out to gain Workday experience. And it was really hard. It was really hard to break into the ecosystem, but eventually I ended up getting an entry-level role at a boutique Workday consulting firm, and made it into the ecosystem.
Nice.
And then I had so much fun. I brought Ceci over. I was like, Ceci, you got to come join Workday.
And I didn't really get it. Mia was like obsessed with the Workday wave. And I was like, that's cool and all. And so we both had quit our jobs as strategy consultants. And then I was just serving full-time at a restaurant actually hostessing at full-time at a restaurant at the Four Seasons, Chicago.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had saved a nice chunk of change after that strategy consulting job. And I was like, hey, I'm just going to travel. I have so many friends across the U.S. I'm just going to mountain bike in Utah. I'm going to go to California and San Francisco, actually. And so I just bopped to different cities visiting friends as cheaply as I could. And then eventually it came time to get a job again. So when I did, I thought for sure I was going to go into software sales. And I was interviewing and got some offers for software sales jobs. But then at the time, TopBlock was hiring, and Mia was like, hey, you should come over to the post-production side. It's still a super small team. It's really awesome. Do it. And I said, okay. And I did. And I think I didn't even really know what Workday was starting the job.
Yeah.
I just knew that I'd be working with data, and I'd be doing sort of a customer experience edge with a customer service edge with, serving clients. And I really loved that hybrid. And I didn't want to give that up by just talking on a phone all day.
Cool. Nice. Okay, so you got the job at TopBlock. You referred Ceci. Tell me, how many years did you stay at Workday partner firms before going to WellBuilt?
I think it was almost 5 or 6 years. I stayed at firms a bit longer than Ceci did. She made the jump before me to independent. We were both at a number of firms, boutique. I did large enterprise at a Big Four firm. But
I went customer side for a little bit too.
Oh, you went to the customer side as well. Okay,
yeah.
cool. And Was the intention to join forces after that, or was it pure luck?
Honestly, a little bit of both. Because I joined the firm after Mia, she had already been specializing in her respective areas, like Pot Suite. And so I wanted something different. I was really attracted to the compensation side and reporting analytics. So I went really hard in those directions. And then when we were both independent consultants, we kind of looked at each other and like, wow, like our skill sets are so complementary. What are we doing? Like, why are we not just joining forces and together we can cover like pretty much most of the HCM modules? Because I was also doing benefits by that time and some talent performance. So yeah, together we joined forces and started taking on clients together.
Nice.
And I will say, having gotten into the ecosystem with the perspective of I already had peers who were independent.
True.
I had that in the back of my mind. I think Ceci and I both did. We have real entrepreneurial spirit, wanted to own our work, own the projects we were doing. But so that kind of informed as we were at these consulting firms, we were learning the business side as well. We were scoping projects. We were helping sell projects. We were paying attention to how they were staffing them, what the business models were. And I think that really helped us when we decided to team up. And at first, we handled projects together, but then we ended up just kind of starting our own Phase X practice where we're actually staffing projects with other vetted consultants that we've worked with throughout our careers.
We will get into the details of what WellBuilt is today.
Awesome.
However, I'm interested in what made you click. What made you click between, working at partner firms? I know you had friends who were independent. Why not, become independent after 2 years? Why wait those extra years and then working at the customer side, etc.? What made you click?
So yeah, at the beginning of our friendship, Mia and I were entrepreneurial to begin with. We became friends basically in the break room, and we initially weren't interested in being friends with one another. I was
Greatest friendships always start this way.
Unexpected.
I was super energetic. I was super vivacious. I think I got feedback in one of my first performance reviews at that company that I was too much for executives. They as I would be interviewing stakeholders, I'd be like really empathetic to like their experience, and they wanted me to be more neutral. But I was always such a connector. So I think I was a lot at the time, and I've really learned to kind of contain and rein it in now. And then Mia, she just seemed really mysterious to me. She was seemed so cool, and she didn't really hang out with the cohort because she had started as an intern the year before and made her own roots in Chicago. But all of us moving there for the first time as a cohort were intermingling a lot. So I was like, oh, Mia's just so cool, and I was shy, unapproachable. But that's not the case at all. It turns out Mia's incredibly goofy and so tenderhearted. So I was once we got past that hurdle and we were sitting in the lunch break room together, we'd be like, oh, you want to get out of here? I want to get out of here. And then oh, you have entrepreneurial pursuits? So do I. I dream of this and that. And so we started reading books together, things like that. And then Mia made the leap, and I was like, all right, let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I remember I was introduced to your content first a few years ago, and you were still doing independent consulting, I think focused on Phase X and just adding as much value as possible to your clients. What changed over the last 2-3 years, I would say? How did you progress beyond just helping clients with Phase X projects?
What we experienced throughout our Workday careers, and I want to come back to your previous question, actually, you asked, why didn't we make the jump sooner to independent? And I think for me and for Ceci too, it's we were creating our own Workday University, over 4 or 5, even 6 years of just really working with so many different customers across every industry, every size, emerging enterprise, medium enterprise, large enterprise, and just really learning the ropes of the ecosystem, how to staff projects, what the business models are, hourly, fixed fee. And I think we stayed in longer to really get a broader perspective on the business side of the ecosystem, so that when we did jump, we had the perspective of here's where the gaps were at the firms we worked at and on the customer side, and here's what we want to do differently at WellBuilt. And that's where our WellBuilt philosophy comes in, which I'm sure we'll talk more about.
If I compare to my own experience, I was literally just focused on doing my own stuff and not paying attention to how the business worked, etc. I had to learn that on my own at a later stage. So I think it's very relevant for consultants who are working right now. If they have those, that entrepreneurial spirit and they want to do something, just to pay attention on how the business is conducted, and beyond just like, oh, I'm certified in absence, and so I'm just configuring absence plans. So I love that. Going back to my question, I know that you started, just providing value to your clients through Phase X. Something that you said, Ceci, over the years, I think clients kept hiring you for compensation. A lot of consultants, usually they just love that because they're always needed. They always have business. But it seems like you have another philosophy. I'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah, certainly. The common sentiment among all my clients would be, what would we do without you? And that was never my point or my purpose. I really wanted to build configuration. And this is actually a perfect segue. This is where WellBuilt Workday WellBuilt Solutions for WellBuilt Workday came from. And that hashtag WellBuilt Workday was like our part of our origin story.
Yeah.
We wanted clients to be able to, not just survive, but thrive without us. And like make sure the configuration we're building for them is sustainable. It's going to last a long time. It's going to be able to be agile. It's going to flex with them. Sustainable. What are the others? Sustainable, scalable, flex with them. Sustainable, scalable, automated, as automated as possible. I would try to tell clients like 80-20 rule always applies. If we can get to like 98-2 for automated, that's awesome. But sometimes there's always exceptions, but don't build for the exceptions. Like sometimes you back yourself into a corner that way, or you can bake them in also automatic. And then elegant. That's probably one of our favorite. I know we probably shouldn't be like looking at receipts and stuff like when you're in a tenant, but sometimes it's like hard not to, because you're like, wow, who built this? Like, why'd they do it this way? Yeah. Like, this is just like a disaster waiting to happen. And so being able to see the before and after of like something that like looks elegant too, like this is straightforward. This is, the nomenclature is accurate. Like someone could come in after me and pick this up.
Can you give me an example?
Oh my gosh, like maybe just Boolean logic anywhere, like a filter on a custom report, a condition rule, like maybe a nested calc field that honestly there's a delivered field for. And they just like didn't take the extra work to find it. So I would say like Boolean logic is the easiest one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Any for you?
I totally agree. In the structural components of Workday, like I think absence plans are a great example, which you work in a lot. Yeah. Same here. I love absence. It's like there's a way to set up eligibility that is scalable. So it's not just going to break if you have an acquisition and bring in a new company, or you have new unions in the population, something that it brings people in and it's still going to work as your organization grows and changes and evolves.
Cool. Yeah. Another one we saw recently is one variable repeated in like 3 different places. And I was like, oh, wait, this could just be in one place. And we can call upon this same variable over and over again instead of you repeating the logic in all these places and then maintaining that too.
Yeah.
Did you notice those inconsistencies and then you thought about the name WellBuilt, or was it the reverse?
Definitely that one. Yeah, we definitely picked up on all the experiences and the common journey of organizations, post-Impul, being like, dang, like, why did this go so bad? What am I left with? I can't maintain this. And then being like, yeah, WellBuilt Solutions for WellBuilt Workday. We want a WellBuilt Workday tenant. And also to imply that things are not well built sometimes.
That's what really inspired us to start our own thing and grow it the way we have. Is just there's so much poorly built config out there and poorly built Workday tenants where there's no underlying strategy underpinning the configuration. And even as the technology evolves, it's like the strategy is still gonna be the foundation of anything you're building, whether it's agents or AI or traditional configuration. It's really about like systems thinking. Why should we build it this way as opposed to that way or that way?
Yeah. And I love this philosophy because it's counterintuitive. You're helping customers, you're training them, you're just making their tenant more stable so that they don't need you. But because you're adding all of that value, then they might give you more business or might refer you more business. And so it just grows the company at the end.
Totally. That's definitely happened. We will go in for a specific module and then hopefully it's like done so well and they're propped up that they don't need us again. But then they're like, hey, can you do that for the next module?
Yeah.
And it's true because the experience was so great. The most recent feedback we got is that it's refreshing.
In pursuit of this mission of making clients knowledgeable, you started the newsletter, the WellBuilt newsletter. Was it 2 years ago or a year ago?
It's a year and a half ago.
Year and a half ago,
Yeah.
Just walk me through the ideation phase. Like, why did you choose like newsletter and not, let's say, like a YouTube channel or whatever? Like, tell me about the very first steps.
We were constrained by a word count on LinkedIn.
That's the truth. We were like,
Yeah.
we can't fit all the WellBuilt wisdom into a LinkedIn post. We need a better, longer format.
Exactly. Yeah, 2,000 word count is what we work with now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we wanted to include more of a series of screenshots and just so really formatting. We wanted control over the formatting, and then of course we wanted to be able to build a closer relationship with our audience instead of just LinkedIn is still really important, but it's like now we've captured you as our audience, and now we're like you're really bought into this philosophy. You're part of this new community. And
I love that because with my background, I've been creating content ever since 2018, even before Workday, and I've seen so much diversity in terms of how to create content, how to capture audience, how to add value. There are Workday newsletters from many companies. They're just boring and they suck usually. Yours was refreshing because it seemed like I was seeing all of the content creation best practice, but now for the first time in Workday. I'm interested in what were your inspiration, or how did you how did you come up with that specific formatting, even the humor inside it? Like, it's very unique to you guys. So want to learn more about it.
Yeah, I think this is essentially what Ceci and I had done throughout our consulting careers for our clients that really differentiated us. And we really excelled in our consulting roles and Ceci customer side too. And it's because we took that extra step to really try to educate our customers. Like, when we leave, how do you maintain this setup that we built for you? Like, what did we set up and why did we set it up that way? So we tried to infuse that into the newsletter and just make it like we were educating one of our customers. And we were so fed up with just the piecemeal, boring jargon-filled stuff out there, that we wanted to make it fun and engaging and put the human back into HRIS.
Yeah. We also incorporated all of the compliments that we've gotten as consultants over the years. So a big compliment we get was that we're great translators, and that we can take all this technical speak and we can bring it down to earth, or that it's really awesome engaging with an analyst all the way up to the CEO suite as a strategist. And so being able to communicate with everyone along that scale in a way that really meets them, it was a strength of ours. And we're like, okay, so we need to put this in the newsletter to get everybody on the same page. Like, we're all on the same team here. We're all in HRIS. And we all want to get the best experience we can out of Workday.
For your newsletter, how do you see it evolve over the next 6 months to a year?
Well, we're getting a lot of feedback that they want more. So maybe more. We'll see. We get lots of requests to go into fins, go into student, go into more niche modules. Being that this newsletter is meeting such a variety of roles in the ecosystem, we do probably want to keep it more general so that it can be valuable for the majority. Of course, release prep is super popular, so we'll probably double down on that. But yeah, overall, probably more segments of the newsletter to meet more niche specialties.
How I saw your progress from an outside perspective. So the WellBuilt mindset, helping customers, taking all of that knowledge, posting on LinkedIn, posting on the newsletter, and now you have your newest project called the WellBuilt Library. Can you tell us more about it?
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. So WellBuilt Library, which was our big announcement that we recently made, it came from the newsletter because we already knew there were gaps in the ecosystem with training and learning and knowledge transfer and the resources available to actually get up to speed, stay up to speed on Workday. So our newsletter and our Calculated Fields Demystified series, which has become pretty popular way to learn calc fields for Workday, it was an MVP. And what we learned is like, oh, wow, there's a serious appetite and demand for this kind of knowledge. Like Ceci said, like the technical stuff just translated into a way that's easy to digest. It's fun and engaging to read. So we birthed the idea of WellBuilt Library, which is really our newsletter, but in a full-scale video content library for HRIS teams, and it lives in their Workday tenant within their Workday Learning module.
What is the primary audience? Like, if I'm new to Workday, so I have no prior experience, would I be a good person to watch the WellBuilt library?
Yes, definitely, but I would say it doesn't even end there. I think any team that is interested in building broad system fluency and becoming a self-sufficient HRIS team for the most part is a great candidate for WellBuilt Library. So in this first iteration, we have 2 plans, Ignite and Accelerate. Ignite is exactly for that, the people trying to build that broad system fluency. And we really believe that organizations who have those generalists are going to be the most successful because the concepts of business processes and custom reporting and Boolean logic, job architecture, all of that, that's the foundation of Workday. And those, I would say, like tentacles spread out into all the other modules.
Yeah.
And so if you nail that problem solving, then you can pick up those other modules a lot faster, and you'll be able to communicate with your consultants who are supporting you a lot more with a lot more intelligence, care, and a good meter to know if it's actually well built.
Yeah. Why do you think there's a gap in knowledge in the ecosystem?
Honestly, I don't think it's been prioritized or what's the word? I don't think it's been incentivized from a profit perspective.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's a few different things. I think that the available training, a lot of it's really high level. So it's a fantastic foundation. But when you get into your tenant and into your day-to-day on the job, it's like, okay, but how do I apply that to my organization? Like, where are the real life use cases? Like, what's the strategy? It's like there is available resources for the what and the how. But what there's not resources for is the why and the when. And I think that's really how you apply the knowledge to what's happening in your tenant. So I think it's that. As we know, there's a talent shortage in the Workday ecosystem. It's just, and I think it's that number one that I just said that feeds into that.
Yeah.
It's really hard to like quickly upskill folks on real applicable knowledge. And then I think there's one more, completely left my mind just now, but if it comes back, I'll bring it back.
Totally. Really well said.
Most customers that I know, or most HRIS managers, they got started just like their director just threw them into the implementation. They were like, just figure it out. And then they became fluent just because of trial and error. And so in theory, if we take your course, then I don't need those trial and error process. Like I'll have that basic level of fluency, and then I'll be able to at least maintain the tenant in a better way.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that you said that because there's so many studies out there that show that 70% of effective learning happens on the job. So when you're taking somebody out and you're putting them in a course, like, yeah, they're going to be like, their eyes are completely on that course for 2 weeks. But it's like that could leave their brain.
Yeah.
Versus like on the job, when I'm in the midst of a problem and I want it solved right now and I need a resource for it right now, do I want to spend the hours digging for it to maybe not even come up with an answer?
Yeah.
Or could I like watch this video right now, here in the now, and implement that solution? That's going to stick a lot better. So yes, theoretically, we think that it will, not even theoretically, we really believe this, that it will take your learning from what we think is about 18 months of heavy problem solving and condense it down to 3 months, which is just about 1 hour of learning a day.
Okay, cool. And so Is it considered all modules of HCM? Like, will I learn more about like HCM, benefits, compensation, whatever? Or is it, do you have like courses for each module? How does it work?
Great question. This really leads into our second tier, our second plan.
Yeah.
So the first plan is Ignite, which we've already talked about, which builds that broad system fluency. The second plan is called Accelerate, and it's for continuous learners. So every single month we'll have a content drop that goes into an additional module, an additional niche area of Workday.
Okay, cool. Okay, amazing. So I can get started with Ignite, and then if I want more,
Yeah, you can upgrade whenever you want. With our 5 founding members, most of them want Accelerate. So people are really hungry for that knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think also Accelerate helps meet your team when you have like maybe like 3 people on the team who are at different stages of their career journey. And if they already have that broad system fluency, they can return to it whenever they need to. But then it can also say, oh, cool, like we're getting something for like discovery boards and like docs layouts next month. Like, great, I'm going to add that to my skill set.
Yeah, perfect. Now here's a direct question. Let's say that I take the Workday HCM certification. Why would I need the WellBuilt library?
I would say they're total complements to each other. So WellBuilt Library does not replace certifications or training with Workday. That's also super important. What our content really offers is the real life scenarios and the strategy. So it's just taking you a layer or several layers deeper into, okay, how do I actually apply this knowledge to my organization so I can like really feel the ROI from the solutions?
Yeah, and organizations are trying to get away from being order takers. You want to be partners with all of your stakeholders. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so that's really what WellBuilt Library is offering, more so than like that order taker perspective, where then you might get backed in a corner with like maintenance and all that stuff. And it's also the way of the future. Like AI is going to be doing that in 5 years from now, at least, maybe sooner. And so we want to build that strategic mindset so that like, hey, you have the fundamentals, you have the foundation, and now we can apply that strategy to more niche areas, and you can make AI your order taker.
Yeah, true. And for people who know you, who already consumed your content, I'm pretty sure that they're already sold on how you're going to teach them through the WellBuilt library. But for people who never consumed your content, they may have watched like Workday tutorials on YouTube or on like other resources. In my experience, those videos are like not crappy. Like the quality is not that good. Like it's screen recordings, you can't hear anything, whatever. How did you make it enjoyable in terms of learning experience? Because not all courses are the same.
We have real life personalities. I think like that's the other feedback that we've gotten from our clients over the years. And in addition to being a great translator, it's like, oh, you're really fun to work with. You're not just like so technical sometimes that you're robotic and like, you know, zoned in on something, but you also, yeah, you have a personality. We have fun working with you.
So let's assume that many organizations buy the WellBuilt library. They're now very fluent in Workday. They make the best decisions ever. Do you see still a place for consultants to come in and still add value to companies?
Absolutely. Yeah. With WellBuilt Library, our intention is that you can cut your dependency on consultants. So we want to make you independent problem solvers. You know your system inside and out. You feel super confident maintaining it, managing it, evolving it. But there's always going to be needs for outside help, particularly niche areas of Workday, niche specialties, projects that you just don't have the bandwidth for. So we see WellBuilt Library just improving the partnership that you can have with consultants.
Yeah.
It improves your literacy with the tech so that you can better communicate what your pains are, what you need, and make sure that whatever your consultants are doing is really what's best for your tenant.
Yeah. I think I've had many experiences where consultants have, I won't say like too much power, but they know how to configure, they know best practice, maybe they have experience with other customers, but at the end of the day, you know, as an HRIS manager, you know what's best for your company. And so you need that minimal guidance so that consultants do what is best for your company. So I think that would be super relevant to at least have that strategy aspect of it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you also just don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a consultant typically is for.
Yeah, that's perfect. I want to know a little bit more about your philosophy on how you created the WellBuilt library. Um, did you base all of your courses or modules through like the newsletter? Like, how did you know like what to include, what not to include, for example?
Yeah, I think on the higher plan, Accelerate, we know we want to go into those more niche areas of Workday. But building that foundation was really important because oftentimes when you're going to those niche areas, the fundamentals still apply. And so you've probably seen this in our newsletter, but what we do is we'll mention something. We'll be like, oh yeah, and you can read that at this other newsletter, and we'll link it. We'll go back to the web post of that former publication. And so we want to do the same with the library. We're really trying to pace it out so that like, okay, we go into compensation and we can link back to the reporting course and be like, hey, here's some compensation specific reports, but you're going to need these reporting fundamentals to get there.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to span into those other niche areas. So we're really trying to do this in a strategic way such that like we can serve the masses where the pain is most needed, and then go into those niche areas so we can refer back.
Cool. And will you go into like a lot of details? And I'll give you a random example just because it's my area. Like if I want to learn how to create custom time day conditions, like will you go into those details or will you stay like high level time calculations?
No, we're going in deep.
Cool.
It is so awesome, the level of detail that is in the library. And I think that's why people have loved the newsletter, because it's like, oh my gosh, you got into that really little detail that I actually needed. We're diving deep on everything. We really go through every single setup component. And time tracking isn't in the first iteration of WellBuilt Library, but it's on our 2026 roadmap.
Perfect.
But like transparently, when we were planning out the first iteration of WellBuilt Library, I think we started with like 4 or 5 foundational courses, and it ended up becoming 11 in the Ignite, the lower tier package, because we were like, wait, no, we need this and we need this, and this is truly foundational. Yeah. So it ended up being just super generous, transparently.
Tell me about the roadmap. So I know that you opened up the WellBuilt library for founding founders?
Founding members.
Founding members, yeah. Well, first, what's a founding member? What's the difference?
Founding member means that like you're investing in this product, it's going to help your team. And so they're signing up now, and then our deadline is November 14th.
Okay.
They put down a $1,000 non-refundable reservation deposit. And then February 1st, they get to go live with the product and their learning module.
Cool. And then they'll be able to consume the content. And then you said you have a 2026 roadmap. So are you planning to add courses every couple of months, or how are you planning that?
So here's how it will work. And I want to add, so we actually decided to limit founding members to only 50 spots. Why we did that is we want the first iteration of this library, we want to treat our founding members like royalty. And it's really, this is only the beginning. Going into our roadmap for 2026, already we've got advanced compensation, EIBs, absence time tracking on the roadmap. And then ultimately we want to expand into all areas of Workday. And our vision is to bring on more content creators to help us create content in areas of like financials and adaptive, Prism.
Yeah.
And ultimately go into agent system of record, building agents, stuff like that. So yeah, ultimately we have vision to kind of create a new role in the Workday ecosystem, content creator.
But back to how this is structured, the monthly content drops on that higher tier. It's going to be ever expanding for those on Accelerate. And then for those on Ignite, we'll add a couple courses that we think are fundamental, again, to that broad system fluency on that lower tier. So with this EIB package coming out on our roadmap for 2026, that will be Accelerate only. And then in the next year, that's something that Ignite might ingest. But Accelerate will be continuously getting those monthly content drops, and they get to have an unlimited content request system. So for those 50 founding members, they'll be able to drive the direction of the library. So yes, while we do have some ideas and a plan and a course laid out for part of 2026, we really do want to partner with our founding members to say, hey, what's most needed? So they'll be able to submit that and then vote on it.
WellBuilt wish list.
WellBuilt wish list.
Nice. Will you increase the price? And that's why, being a founding member is also relevant for that too.
Yes, we will. The content library being ever expanding, ever evolving, and as premium as it is going to continuously grow in value.
Yeah.
And so we need the price to reflect that. At this time, the way we priced it is so that it is lower than a major project for any organization of the emerging, medium, or large enterprise tiers.
For people who might ask themselves, like, how did you learn everything that you're teaching, and how are you going to continuously add more content? I know that you have years of experience. I know that Workday is ever changing. You are still involved somewhat with projects, and you're still in the trenches with customers. So you're also continuously learning about new challenges, and that's what makes the WellBuilt library always relevant, because you're always going to have those lessons to share to the audience. So I love that as well, just in case people are thinking that you're no longer configuring or working with clients. How do you see the future of the ecosystem with AI taking over? Most of the basic configuration will basically be automated as well. How do you see knowledge in all of that, in that future?
Well, while it's super exciting, all of the advancements that are coming out, what Ceci and I see every single day being close to the customer is there is such a disconnect between where customers are actually at with their technology and what the messaging is around AI and the newest technology. And I think the future, it's actually not about the newest technology. It's about bridging the customer to the evolution of the technology. And it's about that human piece of like enabling the humans who are running all this to actually adopt what's coming in. So I'd say we believe the future of human resource information systems is really bringing it back to the human, investing in your people, investing in them and enabling them to learn the technology that's here now so that they can be equipped and ready to adopt what's coming.
Yeah, AI remains a tool at the end of the day, so I love that. It's reassuring for consultants, at least.
Definitely. Yeah, and I'll add, we love to look at the Salesforce ecosystem as a proxy for Workday. Salesforce is like maybe 6-7 years ahead, and I think over the years, Workday has taken a lot of plays from the Salesforce playbook. Basically, it is more important than ever for customers to be enabled to manage, learn, and maintain the technology. As consulting firms gain more and more AI tools, their cost of delivering the work to customers actually becomes cheaper. But they'll call it AI and they'll hike up the prices. We've seen this happen in the Salesforce ecosystem.
Yeah.
So it's more important than ever for Workday customers to actually learn the technology and be able to manage the new stuff themselves.
Be able to call it when it's BS. So
Exactly.
love that. Okay. Any last few words from Ceci and Mia from WellBuilt?
Become your own experts. Empower your team, and that is the secret to unlocking Workday ROI.
Love that. Love that. Thank you very much for being awesome guests. As I said throughout the episode, I'll put all of the resources on screen and also in the description. But thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for being awesome guests.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
so
us,
much,
MAHDI.
MAHDI. So glad this
was
happened.
So fun.